What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Summoner spells have received quite a few changes throughout League of Legends' history, and quite a few have had some time in the spotlight here and there for various reasons. We'll be measuring these spells by how powerful they were at the time, as well as how impactful they were to the game. And as we count down the list, keep in mind that we will only be looking at summoner spells that existed on the Summoner's Rift map. Anyways, let's get started. And starting with an honorable mention, we have Teleport, of which the strongest version existed after patch 4.4 and is somewhat still in the game. Teleport has really shaped the top lane meta in that a team that does not have a teleport between them, when they face a team that does have a teleport, they're going to be at a huge disadvantage due to the huge map presence that the spell creates. The global presence gives room for loads of strategy and has caused every team to need to bring a teleport nowadays, and the plays that the spell can create, especially when comboed with things like Home Guard, are really crazy and are unlike anything you could get from any other summoner spell, since the plays you can make with it are super strong and can really carry a team. Now at number 5 we have Promote from Beta. Way back in the day, Promote was casted on any regular minion rather than the cannon minion, and the creep had an AoE cleave on its attacks, as well as doing much more damage to structures, taking less damage from turrets, and it gave a 30 armor and 15 attack damage unique aura. And so you could bring a team together with the strategy of taking 5 promotes, and after you killed 1 or 2 opponents, you could easily go for a push down and promote 5 minions that led to a monster push that was incredibly difficult to stop and really punished just 1 or 2 deaths. And because of its strength, it was removed from the game completely and then reworked to a much less powerful, unstackable version. Next up at number 4, we have Barrier from patch 1.0.0.141. It took a while for people to realize its strength at the time, but having an increased shield value, a cooldown of 105 seconds with the mastery, and a 4-second shield duration made the summoner spell one of the most overpowered defensive options the game has ever seen. It completely ruined burst damage champions at the time, and any role that could take the summoner spell would, and have a huge advantage over anyone who did not, since the raw defensive power and extremely low cooldown made it so that you could use it pretty much every single fight and avoid more than enough damage to tip the fight in your favor just about every time. At number 3 we have Heal on patch 4.5. Back at the time, the summoner spell received an insane rework that ended up being an absolutely massive buff, and went from a summoner spell that was unused to something that was crazy overpowered and used by pretty much everyone, and you would commonly see 8 or more heals in a game between the two teams. At the time, heal had no debuff for being used on someone more than once, and it gave the movement speed buff for 1 second longer, as well as that it healed for more and removed grievous wounds and had a lower cooldown. The defense and utility, as well as the added mobility, was insanely powerful and caused heal to become a jack of all trades summoner spell and really bring a crazy boost to a champion's kit. And at number 2 we have Flash. This summoner spell has always been extremely dominant and has always been really powerful, but the strongest version actually existed back in the alpha version of League of Legends, right after its cast time was removed, when it had a range of 800 and could be cast while rooted and had a cooldown of 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Flash has always been a crazy dominant summoner spell, and for good reason. The mobility the spell brings is absolutely crazy and is hugely impactful, as many fights are decided pretty much every single game by who has Flash on cooldown. A mobility spell has always been absolutely necessary, and Flash has been the go-to for 95% of the champions. The mobility sets up plays and creates escapes like no other, and there's a reason why we see 9 to 10 flashes between the two teams in pretty much every single game. The strength that this summoner spell brings to such a vast array of champions is just so powerful and so dominant, and Flash has really been the longest lasting summoner spell to remain at the top of the table, and rightfully so. Last up at number 1, we have a summoner spell that almost none of you probably know about, and it's Stifle. This summoner spell only existed in the alpha version of League, so I don't really have any footage of it for you, so I apologize for that, and it has since been replaced by Exhaust, but at the time when it was in the game, it had the effect to silence a target enemy champion for 3 seconds and remove any buffs that they had at the time. And not to mention that the cooldown was only 150 seconds, with a mastery to increase the duration by half a second and lower the cooldown by 10 seconds. And honestly, it was so insane because it removed things like shields, jungle buffs like red, blue buff Baron, and even some even crazier things like Tryndamere and Kael's ultimate. It would literally remove every single thing you had that was coded as a buff. And the 3-second silence on top of that is a crazy long duration and really is just insane for shutting down an opponent, and really denying any champion in the game who used buffs and anything to enhance their kits, and really just completely throwing them out of the meta and making them literally unplayable. The summoner spell was eventually removed from the game and replaced by Exhaust, and for quite good reason, as I'm sure you can tell. Hey guys, it's me, Jeremy. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, definitely make sure to hit that like button so I can tell, as well as you can check me out on Facebook and Twitter at Gaming Curios. And check me out on Twitch too, I do weekly streams. And if you really enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, as well as you can check out some of my other content up above. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.